Sharon Payne, who is the founder and executive director of Brocateur KC. We have Janice Butler. You know Janice. She's been on here several times. Can't get enough of Janice. The founder of Woman of Character, who is a breast cancer survivor, as well as a domestic violence survivor. And Sharon is a breast cancer survivor as well. This is October. It is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It is Cancer Awareness Month, and it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we are here for all of it today, to inspire, to uplift, to inform, to bring awareness and prevention. That's what we're here for. So I am so elated and excited to introduce to you Sharon and Janice. Sharon, thank you. Janice, thank you for your yes, not just to me, but to humanity. Thank you so much. Sharon, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey.
Thank you very much for having me, actually, and I'm so excited about meeting Janice and learning and hearing her story as well. I was diagnosed with breast cancer 11 years ago, and I was very fortunate because it was a non-invasive. That said, I still had to have a double mastectomy and reconstructive surgery. I think that my message about breast cancer really centers around the fact that, lots of times women have the idea that, there's amazing cures, there are amazing procedures that can allow us to just scoot right through this breast cancer diagnosis and come out, great on the other end. And it just isn't that way. There's so many complications. There's so many different kinds of cancers. And in my particular case, just from my reconstruction surgery alone, I've had 3 reconstructive surgeries, and I'm getting ready to face another one. It's a hard, arduous task to survive. And so when I got through this, or actually, I guess I was really facing my second double mastectomy surgery, I had heard about an event in Austin, Texas, where you invite local artists to take a bra, using that bra as a symbol of survivorship, and turn it into a piece of art. And then we have breast cancer survivors who wear this art on a runway. And I used that idea, presented it to the University of Kansas Cancer Center as a fundraiser. And they came back and telling me that they approved it and they wanted to go forward. And they said, we specifically want you to raise money for a Patients in Need fund at Missy's Boutique. And this fund would care for uninsured and underinsured cancer patients. So for me, I was, just struck with fear, instantly thinking about, what if I didn't have insurance? How could I go through this whole entire journey and ensure that I had my reconstructive surgery, to ensure that I still had my breast, the outward appearance of breast? How would I be able to do that if I didn't have insurance? And so I became committed to this cause and passionate to this cause. So we launched, and the way that it works is we have breast cancer survivors who walk the runway wearing these, what has turned into amazing costumes from head to toe. At our event in April of next year, we even have a male breast cancer survivor on the runway. But what has happened is that through the generosity of Kansas City, and through the story of all of our survivors, we have raised close to $3 million in our 10-year period. We had to cancel our last 2 events because of COVID. And we now are not only at KU, but we have a cancer services center at Truman Medical Center. We have one at Sarah Cannon at Research Hospital. We're opening one at Liberty Hospital in the fall of 2022. We pay for the annual free mammogram programs at Samuel U. Rogers at 9th and Euclid. And then we also support Cancer Action, which has 2 offices, one in Independence and one in Overland Park on Metcalf. And every year we schedule 200 free mammogram screenings where we take buses into the underserved community to pick up women who don't have insurance, to offer them that opportunity to get their annual mammogram screenings, because we know, and I think the strongest message that needs to come out of us being together today is that early detection works. So when I tell you about my 4 surgeries, there's a model on the runway that's had 18. There's just so many really, really sad stories. Or there is also the possibility that your cancer may return, and then you can either lose your life or you battle that for the rest of your life. So the way that we prevent that is by getting screened. So I'm the founder and executive director, and now we have we are volunteer driven, which is another really wonderful story about our organization. We sell out at 1,500 people. We have our event at the downtown Kansas City airport. We have Kansas City Chiefs on the runway. And then we also have the Royals are involved. And it's just every woman who walks that runway tells her survivor story first, and then comes out on the runway with her friends and family there cheering her on. It's really quite extraordinary and emotional. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we don't want to stop. We know that Coleman has left Kansas City. And so we really, we want to grow to be able to reach as many neighborhoods as we possibly can. And we really want to look at, like as an example, out of the Sarah Cannon Center, I met some individuals who were too ill to work when they were in treatment. And they were, their utilities were turned off. So like we provide wigs, we provide prosthetics, we provide surgical supplies, but we also will pay for rent and utilities and provide food and gas cards for those individuals who are too ill to work during treatment. We provide lymphedema garments. That's another condition that both men and women can get after they go through cancer. So we provide those garments, and then we support the University of Kansas has a lymphedema services division, and we've donated $60,000 to them, and hopefully we'll be able to donate another $60,000 next year after our event. So we want to continue to look at how many other individuals who have cancer can we take care of, and how many other kinds of services can we provide. So we encourage individuals to reach out to us and tell us that. Tell us what your needs are, and let us try to figure out how we can provide those needs and that care.
Wow, that is amazing. Just amazing, your work. Congratulations, and thank you for your yes. Isn't that amazing?
That's awesome.
Right.
It's amazing.
And much needed.
Much needed. Yes. And what I love about what you're doing or your story, and many people, once they hear our stories, they have a tendency to have pity or feel, the first thing they say is, oh, I'm so sorry. And the first thing I say is, please don't be, because I probably wouldn't be talking to you right now had I not gone through what I went through.
I agree with you about that. I mean, there probably wouldn't be a Brocator KC, and the ability to reach out. Clearly the highest percentage of patients that we help are 200% below the federal poverty level. So that's the community that we're reaching out to take care of, and that happens, we're reaching out into the rural communities to pull more cancer patients in and let them know that we care for them. So our long-term goal is to really be that kind of organization in Kansas City, that those that don't have insurance and those that have little to no choices for their cancer care will reach to us for that care. That's what we want to do.
Exactly. And what I love about you, I was introduced to you from a mutual friend, but my niece is the reason that I have the Love Backs for Cancer arm of outreach with Giving Hope and Help, because of her battle with Hodgkin's lymphoma. And she was
Yes.
also a model for your event.
Yes.
I know for 2 years. And so that connection, and the friend who introduced us had no idea that we knew that I had a
That we
niece
had
who
that
was model,
connection.
that we had
Yes.
that connection. And then of course now we're connecting and partnering together as nonprofits.
Right.
We have been in prayer about our Love Backs for Cancer program because we visited patients directly at the hospital level. Well, because of COVID, of course, we have to pivot.
Yes,
We
so
have
did
to
we.
pivot our whole program, and meeting you, Sharon, is part of the pivot. All good
Yes.
things work together for the good of them who are called according to his purpose. You know, and it may seem, you know, COVID has taken a lot, but there is a pivot for whatever it is that you're doing.
Right. And you know,
there's-
Jessica, I think what's, you know, what I see and how I was just so excited about what you do, because our cancer services centers are physically located inside of hospitals. So that means that the nurse navigators can bring the patients down to our cancer services centers and say, do you need a wig? Do you need a prosthetic? Do you need surgical supplies? Do you need, you know, rent money or utilities? Or in your case, you have these care bags. So during COVID, while you can't take them now to the patients, we can put them in our cancer services center. And when they come down, that's another wonderful item that they can walk away with. Because we have lotions and creams, you know, because when you go through chemo, your skin just gets so dry. And so there are those kinds of things there, but I can't wait to see what's in your bags, because I think that, you know, just the fear of being told that you have cancer and you don't have insurance. And then when you come to our center and you know that, okay, I may lose my breast, but I'm going to have prosthetics. Or I may lose my hair, but I'm going to have a wig. Or in this particular case, giving them something special that makes them feel not so desperate, makes them feel beautiful, that makes them feel like I have care available to me in these various different ways. So I can't wait to see what's in your bags.
I'm so excited. Sharon, thank you so much for sharing
You're welcome.
your story. And, you know, my prayers are extended to you. Since I met you, I've been praying for you with what you're currently, you know, taking medication still.
Right.
Diagnosed 11 years ago.
Yes. Yes. Wow. Yeah.
Wow. So it's been a life battle for you. And so.
And it really is, you know, one of my best friends, or one of our former models, her cancer metastasized. And so, oh my goodness, her story, you know, all of the different procedures that she's had to go through. She's doing fine. She's surviving, but it's hard. It's hard to get the medicine. It's hard to go through the procedures in order to survive. And that's why sometimes when we think, I don't have time to get my mammogram. I don't have you know, I need to take care of the children. I need to work. I don't have time to go get a mammogram. Well, now mammogram screenings don't hurt anymore. You know, the technology is so advanced that it's over before it begins. There are some screening, like imaging for women in the Northland, you control the compression yourself on your breast. So you're the one who's squeezing and giving, you know, yourself the opportunity for any slight abnormality to be detected. So when you stack that time, so let's just say at the most it takes an hour. You drive there, you have your screening, and you drive back. 1 hour stacked against 11 years, or Michelle having cancer for the rest of her life, and you know, most likely it will be, you know, from which she will lose her life to that. There's just no comparison. And so we really, really, really want women to go get screened. And don't be afraid, because the technology is so advanced now, and particularly for women of color, just like me, Women of color have very dense tissue, but the new technology can see through that and can see any abnormality. And like when we do our 200 free mammogram screenings, if we find an abnormality, we fast track that woman for care immediately to one of our hospitals. So we know, and then follow her all the way through. So I really, really encourage self-breast exams and getting screened.
And with this 200 free 3D mammograms, you're going to hear more about that from KC Brocateur or Brocateur KC and Giving Hope and Help, because we're going to partner to get women of color and women in underserved areas, whether you're
Yes.
of color or not, to take advantage of these free, I said free.
Exactly. They're free. And it's a fun event, Jessica. So like, let's say that we got 50 to 60 women together and we bring the bus. So the bus is like a city bus, and we bring the bus and we pick them up at a church or any designated location where we can gather these women. It's a fun thing. You're all together on the bus, and on the way there, one of the physicians or myself will talk about how to do self-breast exams. And then when you get to, we do this at Imaging for Women. Imaging for Women has the top technology for breast cancer screening in Kansas City. Only KU has this A-bus screening machine, our technology, and it's just so important that we have that technology available to us. So when you get there, you have breakfast, we have massage therapist, we take women back and teach them how to do their self-breast exams. I mean, it's a really special thing. We have these beautiful skincare packages that everybody gets a raffle ticket, and then they may walk out of there with it's fun. It's really fun. We make it a really fun event.
Beautiful. I can't wait. I can't wait. Well, thank you so much, Sharon, for all
You're
you
welcome.
do. You are an amazing gift to the community, and I am so thankful that we're connected. Wow. I have another powerhouse guest who is just a DV survivor, domestic violence. For those of you that don't know, DV stands for domestic violence. And Janice survived domestic violence and then was diagnosed with breast cancer. And she can tell her story. Nobody can tell it like her. So, hey, Janice, tell us a little about you and a little bit about Women of Character and your breast cancer journey, and then your domestic violence, or your domestic violence and then your breast cancer, however you want to talk about it.
Okay, well, I'll start with the domestic violence because that was the thing that first happened. At the age of 34, I was on my third marriage and ended up being abused, being held hostage twice in a 3-week period by my estranged husband. We had been together for like 5 years, and then just actually married only just a few months before we ended up having a fight, a physical fight, and then we separated. And as I went through that separation, just really began to seek God for His will for my life. And I say that to say that a lot of times when we talk about domestic violence, we don't stop and think about the relationships that we are building or the relationships that we're entering into with a significant other. And we ignore a lot of the signs that come as we're getting to know that person. And which I did. I just had the thought that, okay, I knew about him being an abuser in his past. However, I thought, that was before me. He's learned his lesson. It'll never happen to me. Nobody in a million years could have ever told me that I would be being held hostage by my husband, let alone being held twice by the same person. But the first incident that he held me hostage, we were separated, and he wanted, he had told me that he had divorce papers. And so I made arrangements to go and get those papers from his home, not knowing that that was just a ploy to get me to his house, so that his plan was to kill me. Through the hostage, through that we were there about 3 or 4 hours. He raped me. He pulled a shotgun, put it to my chest, asked me if I was ready to meet my maker. When as he had slapped me across the face, busted my lip open, but raped me, as I said. And after 3 hours, he finally let me go, which was only God. As I was sitting there with the gun held to my chest, I heard the Lord say, "It's not your time." So I knew that I wasn't going to die, but I didn't know. I was really preparing myself to be paralyzed for the rest of my life, because you don't know in those situations what's going to trigger somebody or if it's actually going to happen, right? And so eventually I talked him out of, into letting me go, which he did again, which was only God. And I went, got, an ex-parte and everything, and moved out of my house. At the time, my son was 16 years old. I had an 11-year-old daughter. So I sent them to my mother's house, and I went to stay with a friend till we went to court. After I'd gotten the ex-parte, we went to court. That was granted. I went back to my home, and about a week or so later, he came to my home. And we were in a 5-hour standoff where he, as he was there, he busted my head open with the butt of the gun, trying to get me in the house, which I was trying to stay outside, thinking that somebody would see me, being abused and call the police. My son wasn't at home. He was at work. My 11-year-old daughter was in the house. So I was also thinking of how do I protect her? How do I keep her out of harm's way? And he busted my head open with the butt of the gun, trying to get me back into the house. Eventually ended up there. I talked him into letting my daughter out of the home. And unbeknownst to me, my son's friends who had come by the house went to go get my son, and he called the police because, again, like I said, we had an ex-parte, which had been just issued a couple of weeks prior. And so we've got the police there now. We've got the SWAT team there now. We can hear them on the roof. You could see the infrareds coming through the windows. And he was on the phone with the negotiators. They were trying to get him to, for both of us to come out. Well, somehow my son got the SWAT team a key to the house. He came in, the police were coming in, and as we were sitting on the steps, he kind of put his hand down. He never let go of the gun, but basically the police ended up killing him. Bullets literally flying over the top of my head because we were sitting on the stairway, and like I said, bullets literally flying over my head, and he was shot and killed right there. And that took a lot. It was very traumatic. Again, never in a million years would I have thought that would have been in that situation. And I said all that to say that for the women that are out there listening, look at the relationships that you're in. Pay attention to the signs of, and if you don't know what the signs of domestic violence are, we're going to be here to give them to you. And after that situation, or that, as I was going through my healing, that's when the call or the purpose came on my life to form the organization Woman of Character Incorporated. And that is my nonprofit organization that helps empower women and provide tools and resources to encourage empowerment and change in the lives of women around the world, to educate them about what domestic violence is, to help them to heal from the pain of their past, turn their pain into purpose, because it is not God's will that women go through abusive relationships or to be abused. The Lord wants us to see ourselves as we see ourselves. And a lot of times it's because of low self-esteem or hurt or pain that we've had in the past that we allow relationships that are unhealthy. We get involved with those things. And so a woman of character has been birthed. And as I was going through that process, the Lord really began to reveal to me the areas that I struggled in, low self-esteem. I didn't even realize I had low self-esteem. But not being able to love myself and value the gifts and talents that I had, who I was, so that someone else could do that. I had to learn how to love Janice. And in the midst of that, in the midst of that healing, I was then diagnosed with breast cancer. And I tell you, Jessica, I was at the point of just wanting to give up. You know, when you've experienced something so traumatic as death twice, you know, or almost near death twice at the hands of an abuser, and then you get the sickness piled up on, you know, it's like, hey, I can't take anymore. But again, I really believe that the title or the name of my organization, Woman of Character, God is building was building a woman of character in me. And he was saying that I want you to be the vessel to help other women to know their worth, know who they are, know their strength, know that I'm with them, see themselves as I see them. And so going through that breast cancer, mine was ductal in situ, was in my early detection is very, very, very vital. Mammograms, as Sharon was just sharing, are so important. It could be a matter of life and death for some. But I also knowing your history, your medical history, my mother had two sisters who were breast cancer survivors. And so the likelihood of me having it was greater because of the family medical history. And so when I was diagnosed, I had done the lumpectomy, and I had to do radiation every day for 6 weeks. And they got the cancerous cells and everything. But then a year later, the cancer started coming back. And so I thank God for being a 2-time breast cancer survivor, because the second time, as the cancer cells were coming back, and because of my medical history, my doctor suggested that I get a mastectomy, which I did on my left side. And again, you know, we go through the shame and the what ifs and why me. And I honestly count it an honor now, after I've gone through the process of healing from domestic violence, the process of healing from the breast cancer, because I can now speak to women across this world, and they can have somebody that looks like them that they can relate to. I so appreciate what Sharon was sharing, because a lot of times we just need someone to be that advocate. And what Jessica is doing, be that advocate that encourages women to take care of themselves. That's part of self-care and self-love. It builds empowerment and strength in who we are as women, and lets us know that God truly does have a plan for each one of us. And so after I got my mastectomy, again, there's healing again, because you know, you think about what's wrong with me. You know, I couldn't, failing in relationships, sick, you know, what did I do? And we didn't do anything. We have to realize that there's an enemy out there that doesn't want us to fulfill our potential and to get to our purpose and the plan that God has for us. And again, through my experiences, I know that I had to experience what I went through so that I can help somebody else. And so I count it an honor and a joy to be able to, of course, partner with my sister Jessica and be a part of giving hope and help, because I know what it is. I know what fear is. I know what that anxiety is, what you actually go through, whether it be domestic violence or whether it be breast cancer. The times that you want to give up hope, the time that you want to, just give in. But there's a still small voice that says there's more for you. And there is. And so that's Woman of Character was birthed in 2010. I've written a book called Torn Between Religion and Relationship, which is my own personal experience, because again, I just believe that when people know this isn't book knowledge. This isn't something that I learned from somebody else. This is something that I've literally walked through. And when you stop and think about it, twice on both of the situations, the domestic violence as well as the breast cancer. And so I'm able to walk with you and be a bridge. And that's what Woman of Character is all about, is being a bridge for women who need support, need a cheerleader, need somebody who understands, who's been there, who can be real with them and be transparent and vulnerable as they support them on their journey. And that's what we want to do at Woman of Character, is support women, provide them with resources and tools that are specific to their needs, because every situation is different. You may need a plan of escape. You may be in an unhealthy relationship or an abusive relationship, and you just don't know how to get out. Well, it's not as easy as just walking away and staying away. We want you to walk away, get out, and get out safely, and so that you're able to make decisions on how to stay out. We want to help young girls that are 17 and women 17 to 45 that seriously want to avoid and or escape their abusive relationship and situation. Help them to give them the tools that will help them make healthy relationship choices. And as far as the breast cancer, just being a support. I've gone on the Love Care Bags with Jessica, and it is just so rewarding to see the joy that these women have when they receive these bags, and just a visit, knowing that somebody is there for them, somebody is caring for them as they go through on their journey. Having a tribe is amazing, and we want to be that tribe. We want to be that bridge to walk with you, to help you, to support you, to give you information that you may not otherwise know. Because one of the things when Sharon was talking, when she was talking about the cancer metastasizing, a lot of people don't even understand what metastasizing means. It just means moving from one area of your body to another. And you may think you've got it in one area, or that it's gone from one area, but now it has moved to another area. And I think that information is so important to share, because you wonder, well, I just was treated, or they said I didn't have it, so how do I have it now? Well, again, self-care, self-love, that's what we're here to do, is to promote and to give you information that will help you make good decisions about not just your health, but about your mental state as well, relationships, to love on yourself and to know that you are worth everything that God has planned for you. So that's what Woman of Character is about. That's just a little bit about my story. It's so much. I can go on and on and on, but I know we only have a limited amount of time. So
Wow.
thank you.
My word is wow. If you don't know me, my word is wow.
Yeah.
Wow means, there's just not a word to describe, everything that these women stand for, everything that these women have been through, everything that they're advocating for. One common denominator that I've heard from both of you as you have spoken is a word: prevention.
Mm-hmm.
Prevention. We need to get into the lane of prevention.
Yes.
Right.
I can't echo Sharon and Janice enough. We need to get into the lane of prevention.
Mm-hmm.
When you take a shower, ladies, when you bathe yourselves, you should be doing a breast exam at least once a month.
Yes.
at least once a month. That is self-care. If you're
Mhm.
brushing your teeth and wearing your mask, you should be doing a breast exam.
Yes.
If
Absolutely.
you're not doing a breast exam, you might as well not wear your seatbelt. You might as well not wear your mask.
Right.
It's
Mhm.
that serious. Would you
Mhm.
agree, ladies?
Yes.
I agree. I
Absolutely.
totally agree.
That serious. Prevention when it comes to domestic violence. Let's talk about a little bit of the signs, Janice,
Mhm.
because to prevent the domestic violence, you need to understand what the signs are. Now,
Yes.
I am a survivor, but I didn't know what the signs were.
Right.
Now
Right.
that I have, you know, become more mature and understood and got out of the relationship, I'm like, oh my God,
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah.
And there are scars from domestic violence that will never leave.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
have been
Absolutely.
happily married for going on 25 years. I can't even believe that. I
Yeah.
have been happily married for going on 25 years, and I still have to change the channel that I'm listening to
Yeah.
because the
Those are
words that were
yes.
triggers. Because
Yes.
there are numbers. I have some numbers that are triggers when I see those numbers because of experiences. And so you have to know what domestic violence is. And so one of the things that I love to share is triggers, or not so much triggers, but how to prevent it. If you're in a relationship and you cannot be you,
Mhm. Mhm.
wear what you want to wear. You can't be the nice, kind person that you are by saying things, how you feel about things. You're timid, you're afraid, and you
Right.
don't know
Yep.
why. That is control.
Mhm. And let me give you the definition really quickly of a domestic violence. It's the intimidating or assaultive behavior towards and which and can also lead to physical abuse uh, demonstrated by your intimate partner. Um, and that
But,
can
but
be
pause right there, Janice. Pause right there because you said intimidating so quickly and smoothly,
Mhm.
but I didn't have a black eye or a black face. I had a black
Absolutely
heart.
right.
And so the intimidation and the emotional and the verbal.
Yeah, and the mental and the psychological and the financial and the sexual abuse can be abuse.
Yeah.
It is a form of abuse. It doesn't. It and I tell ladies this all the time. It doesn't start with the physical. Nobody's going to accept a guy or a partner that comes up and hits them and says, "Hey, I love you." You would definitely walk away if not call your family and your friends, right? But it starts with that wooing. It starts when we talk about the cycle of abuse. We talk about that honeymoon phase. You know, you're in love. You're just, loving it. Then you talk about how something happens. Then there's the incident, that's what triggered the abuse, whether it was verbal or not. And I'm not just talking physical. What triggered that argument? What triggered that behavior? Um, and then, you once they've had that incident, you got the blow up, then they've got the calm where everything is okay. I'm so sorry. I'll never do this again. And then you have where the buildup begins again. And then, they're in love. They can do no wrong. They're trying to help you out, do everything for you because they don't want you to leave. It's, again, as Jessica said, it's all about control. How can they control where you go, what you do? And sometimes, ladies, we think that is cute. We think that's, oh, they love me. Oh, but be aware that sometimes that is a form of manipulation and control. If you don't have the freedom to go where you want to go. There's isolation. They want to keep you from your friends. They want to control your purse strings. We think, oh, they just want, all the money, but now they're dishing it out to you. And it is a fine line between that control, what's healthy and what's unhealthy. And you have to be the one, if it's making you uncomfortable, if it makes you afraid, if it makes you anxious, then you may be in an abusive relationship. If you aren't able to speak up and say, this is how I feel when you do that, or it bothers me, without some type of backlash or a repercussion, you may be in an abusive relationship. And you have to be honest with yourself. A lot of times we want a relationship so bad that we ignore all the signs. And there are signs. There are signs. But we have to be able, I tell my ladies, when we talk about healthy relationships, or normal relationships, healthy means normal or desirable. What's normal and what's desirable. But we have to be careful with the normal, because what's normal for you may not be normal for me. So what's desirable? What is it that you're wanting? You know, so there's so much to it, so much more.
There's so much to it, and we only have so much time. So
Yeah.
what I would like to do is I would like for you to share how, Sharon, share how people can get in touch with you and your organization, and Janice do the same. And then Janice, I have a couple questions for you regarding breast cancer. Okay, Sharon, tell us how they can contact you.
We have a website, and that website is bracouturkc.com. So that's BRACOUREKC.com. And on that website is a list of all of our centers. And it's not only a list of the centers, but it's where they're physically located and the name of the individual that you need to call if there's something that you need. If you've just been diagnosed with any kind of cancer, this is for men and women. We started out just focusing on breast cancer, but fortunately, because of the generosity of Kansas City, and when we started supporting lymphedema, and men have lymphedema as well, then we don't want to turn anyone away who needs our care. So it's men and women. Also, my contact information is there, so anyone can call me and I can guide them through whatever kinds of questions they have and help them address their needs. I would say that Verda's Place is one of our cancer services centers. It's just inside the Sarah Cannon Cancer Center at Research Hospital. And then our BRCA KC Cancer Services Center at Truman Medical Center is downtown. That one's a little bit harder to find, so be sure and ask for directions either from myself or call Tina Shropshire. She's the manager of that center. So you can find anyone who needs anything can go to our website, and there's contact information there, and we can guide them
So much
to receive these services. Yes.
That is amazing that you whenever you say yes to your purpose, it doesn't stay in one area. It expands.
Right.
And that's why you've expanded from breast cancer to all cancers. And that's why we've expanded from domestic violence shelters in period poverty there to women and girls administrators all over the world.
So we help men who have prostate cancer, and we help men who have pancreatic cancer. It doesn't really matter what kind of cancer a man has. If he doesn't have insurance and we can provide care for him, we will.
Beautiful. And I do want to say this real quick, and then I'm going to ask you, Janice, the questions about breast cancer. But I want to make it known that not just women get breast cancer, men get breast cancer too. And one of the men that I know of is a celebrity. He's a star, Richard Roundtree. He played Shaft, the original Shaft. He's a breast cancer survivor. And, he's a man of color. And I think it's paramount that we understand that not just women get breast cancer.
Right.
masculine?
We have a male, yeah, we actually have a male model. We've had to cancel our event for the last 2 years, but our next event is scheduled for April 22nd. And we have a male breast cancer survivor on the runway. And he's
I
going
heard
to
you
be
say
all
that. That's
decked
awesome.
out, and yeah, he's going to be decked out in NASCAR t-shirts and you know, all the guy things.
I love it. I love it. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you have that representation. I know men
Yeah.
don't talk about their issues as much, and we have to help them. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you. Janice, thank you so much for sharing your story. Every time you share it, I learn something else. You know, I visualize it the whole time. And
Yeah.
you know, my husband and I were talking about you a couple of weeks ago, and you know, you are one of the nicest people that we know. And so I don't know how anybody could be, you know, mean towards you. And my husband said it's not a person, it's just the devil. The only
It's
person,
yeah.
you know, he says the only way a man can do that and hit a woman, even hit a woman, is just not, it's just not right. But I'm so thankful that you prayed through that and made it through that and didn't give up. But with your
Yes.
breast cancer journey, are you still having any issues or any effects with your breast cancer journey?
No, I'm not. My first when I was first diagnosed and I had the radiation, they put me on tamoxifen, which is a drug that you're supposed to take for 5 years. Um, I got off of it for 2.5 years because it was having such bad side effects with neuropathy, which is yes, neuropathy, which is nerve damage, and couldn't walk almost. And so I took myself off of it, and I really believe that the Lord just kept me in that. After I had the mastectomy, I did not have to do chemo or anything. I've been clear. I still continue to go get my mammograms every year on my right side, and everything has been fine. But I'm also doing things that will try to keep me healthy, keep my blood, you know, some natural things that are helping me, I believe, through that. So no, I am not claiming any more sickness from breast cancer or any other cancer because it runs
Or
in my
any
family.
other sickness.
Yes. So, but no, I thank God for the journey because now I have a better understanding and can help women who are on that same journey to encourage them and empower them. But no, God is good. I am fine. I am fine. I'm healthy. So, but again, still taking the precautions. One of the things that I talk about on my Facebook Lives on Monday is being intentional about your healing. And I just want to say, women, we have to be intentional. And part of that is knowing our bodies, knowing, you know, our minds, knowing our weaknesses, knowing our strengths, knowing what, you know, so that we can make good, informative decisions about our health, our relationships, you know, other things. But yeah.
So awesome.
would
We
agree.
have to be intentional, and we
Yes.
have to take care of ourselves. You know, we
Right.
have this one vessel, I mean, we don't get a new one. We don't get a replacement. You can
Right.
get new clothes, you can get a new car, but you can't get a new you. And
Right.
so, you know, people say, I'm a new person. No, you're not. You're the same person. You just improved.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're the same person. You have improved. You have let some things go, or you may have released some weight or something like that, but you're the same person. We can only be one person. And so
Right.
we have to take care of ourselves and be excited and truly empowered by
Right.
the opportunity, because the air that we breathe, it's only for a moment in time.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's only for a moment
Absolutely.
in time. And so what are you going to do with your breath? What are you going to do with your next steps? What are you going to do with what you went through that was so horrible
Excuse me.
and had you crying and had you, you know, upset, but you made it through it? Are you going to
Yeah.
help somebody else through it? And so that's what
Yeah.
these ladies are doing. They are taking their pain. Their pain has already been turned into full, complete fruition purpose, okay? That's bearing beautiful fruit that will endure. And so with what you have gone through, you may be saying, you know, that'll never work for me, or I'll never become this, or of course you won't. You really truly won't. Guaranteed if you don't try.
Right. That's good.
Right? Right? You won't become it and you won't have it if you don't try. We need to, as women and men, we need to, like you said earlier, Janice, what is it that you want?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Remember when you were in grade school and people said, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Right.
You know, the biggest misnomer with educating with that, there was no blueprint.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
People would always say, you can be anything you want to be. You know what I tell my girls when I talk to them? That's not the truth. You cannot be anything you want to be unless you do the work.
Unless you do the work. Absolutely.
You've got to do the work. And then you can't be anything that you want to be if it's just outrageous. You can't be Beyonce if you can't sing.
Right.
You can't be Beyonce anyway. You have all these little girls and all these, I want to be a football player and I want to, but you can't throw. That's not your gift.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a parent, we need to tap into the gifts that our children have. We may not know what that gift is. We're trying to put them in basketball and football, but they have a gift for chess or checkers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we must be in tune with our gifts and talents and
Yes.
use those for the upbuilding of the kingdom, to inspire and to uplift. And as we have those gifts and talents, like I told some girls the other day, I was speaking to Girl Scouts on Thursday night. Everyone that has been through, everyone that you see up at the top, they've been through some stuff. They didn't just
Yes.
walk up there.
Absolutely.
So Sharon, you're at the top when it comes to this.
Oh,
Janice, you're at the top when it comes to this. You're at the top. When you're at the top, you have walked through all that you have walked through. And you're still here and you're still smiling and you're still planning and you got plans for April 2022. Do you even know if you're going to be here? No, but you got plans to uplift and upbuild and inspire. And that is what it's all about. I'm just excited to know y'all.
Well, thank you. We're excited to know you too.
Two
In that same category, Jessica.
But we're doing the work. You know,
Yes.
we're doing the work. And that's what it's all about. Taking an hour out of our day on Sunday where we could be wrapped up doing something else, you know, watching a movie, eating popcorn, eating something sweet on the lips and heavy on the hips. We could be doing
Celebrating the Chiefs win.
and we're going to do that in just a few minutes.
Yes.
Celebrating the Chiefs win. But I am just so grateful that you all have been chosen by God to do the work. And not that you've just been chosen to do the work, but that you said yes. See, we are his hands extended.
Yes.
We are his hands and feet extended. He's not physically here in body, but he's here in spirit. And his spirit lives in us.
I agree. I do.
Yes.
I agree.
Absolutely. And so would you like to have any closing remarks, Sharon, regarding the 200 free mammograms that we're going to be trying to, we have a couple of minutes and then I'm gonna let Janice give some closing remarks and then we're going to close out. So tell us a little bit more how people can get in touch with you real quick and to be on the lookout for the free 3D mammograms.
Well, for one thing, partnering with you is going to be a huge opportunity for us because now we have another vehicle, if you will, to reach the women in the underserved communities. So that increases their awareness as well. But once again, you know, coming to the website and reaching out to me. And I would love for churches and women's organizations and sororities to reach out to me and say, hey, we want a bus to come here. We want a bus to come right here to our door and pick up our women and take them for screening. Yeah, it's just, I can't say this enough. You know, sometimes you say, well, I'm busy with my children and my children are my priority. But if you don't get screened and you have to go through 2, 3, 4, 10-year arduous journey to survive breast cancer, then you're not there for your child. So taking an hour versus the risk and the time that that could take ultimately your life, so you're not there to watch them grow up, that hour is a precious moment for every woman to invest in their family. Because when you're diagnosed with breast cancer, everyone around you is diagnosed. Your
Yeah.
husband, your children are afraid they're going to lose you. I mean, and you don't want anybody that loves you to be instilled with that fear. And so I just can't say enough about how precious that 1 hour is, or 45 minutes, or if it's coming with us on the bus, it's a whole morning. It's a fun morning. So yeah, I really encourage all of the organizations to reach out to us and to watch for your announcements, Jessica, and then just reach out to me through our website, bracouturekc.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sharon. Janice, we have a couple of minutes. Tell us how
Yes.
they can reach you.
Yes, you can reach me at womanofcharacter.org, and that's woman with an A, woman of character, all one word, .org, or you can give me a call at 816-945-0600. Also on Facebook and Instagram. So go and find our page, Woman of Character Inc. on Facebook, and on Instagram is at WMOFCHARACTER. And come follow us, DM me, send us a message, and we will return your call, get with you to see what how we can support you.
They can hear you on Monday nights at what time?
5 p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook, Woman of Character Inc. Yes, Motivational
That's
Monday.
wonderful. That's just
Motivational
wonderful.
Monday. Wow. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you so much. I'm excited, ladies. I'm super duper excited to continue and grow with you and get the word out to the community of what we are advocating for: domestic violence and breast cancer, as well as any cancer awareness and prevention. This is October. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We're putting a little purple with our pink and a little pink with our purple. But let me tell you something. Every single day is Domestic Violence Awareness Month and Breast Cancer Awareness Month for us. We advocate for those things, cancer advocacy, every single day of our lives. And so take heed to what we're trying to tell you, and take care of yourselves, and make sure that you are taking care of you, because if you're not here, you won't have your children or your husband or your loved ones to take care of.
Well
So we
said.
thank you so much for tuning in to Kansas City's global community radio station, KUAW.org. You've been tuned in to Jessica Lynn Speaks Life, and we will be back on the first Sunday of November. We are on the first and third Sunday of November at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. As you can see, we have phenomenal powerhouse guests, and we are inspired to inspire. We're empowered to empower. We're lifted to lift. We're blessed to be a blessing. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be blessed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica.
Stay
Love you
on.
guys.
Stay on. Stay on.
Oh.